Essentially, epidemiology patterns depend upon those factors which influence the probability of contact between an infectious agent and susceptible host. The presence of infectious materials varies with the duration and the extent of its excretion from an infected person, the climatic conditions affecting survival of the agent, route of entry in the host, and existence of alternative reservoir or host of the agent. So, nagbabari dito yung duration and kung gaano katagal yung excretion from the infected. Then the availability of susceptible hosts depend upon the duration of immunity from previous infection with the same or related agent. So alam naman natin na kapag nakadepende din yung halimbawa kung depende sa immunity ng host, kung kung gaano kalalayo yung distance nila sa isa't isa para makuha ng other or yung contact. And then lastly is the classification of agents, hosts, and environmental factors which determine the occurrence of disease in human population. Next slide. Ay, naulit lang po. Next slide.
So, classification of agents, host, and environment factors determine the occurrence of disease in human population. Agent of disease, nutritive elements or nutrients are chemical compounds in food that the body uses to function and stay healthy. And chemical agents are compounds that through chemical reactions have the potential to harm people, animals, or in the environment. These substances, which can be solids, liquids, or gases, can be employed as industrial chemicals, insecticides, and weapons, and among other applications. Physical agent is a source of energy that can cause harm to humans, either through direct exposure or through the environment. These agents are distinct from chemical agents which cause harm through chemical reactions. Physical agents can be found in various forms, including noise, vibrations, radiations, extreme temperature, and pressure. Next is infectious agents, or also known as pathogens, are microscopic organisms that can cause disease in humans, animals, or plants. These agents can be bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, or prions. They invade the body, multiply, and cause harm by interfering with normal bodily functions. Etiological factors, example, cholesterol, vitamins, proteins, carbon monoxide, drugs, ragweed, poison, IV heat, light, and ionizing radiation. Hookworms, schistosomiasis, amoeba, malaria, rheumatic fever, lobar, pneumonia, typhoid. Cysticercosis, athlete's foot, Rocky Mountains, spotted fever, measles, mumps, chickenpox, and poliomyelitis, and rabies. Next slide po. So, host factors, influencing exposure, susceptibility, and response to disease agents, listing example for each factor: genetic, age, sex, ethnic group, physiologic, immunologic, experience active and passive, intercurrent or pre-existing human behavior. So sa genetic is sickle cell. Next is fatigue, pregnancy, puberty, stress, hypersensitivity, prior infection, immunization, maternal antibodies, globulin, personal hygiene, food and handling. Next slide po. So, environmental factors, it categorizes these factors into physical environment or geologic climate, biologic environment is human population density, food and sources, and then next is socioeconomic environment, exposure to chemicals, urban crowding wars, and disasters. Next slide po. So, epidemiological process and investigation, disease distribution, the methods and technique of epidemiology and desired to detect the cause of disease in relation to the characteristic of the person who has it or to a factor present in his environment. Since neither population environment of different times or places are similar, these characteristics and factor are called and it focuses on disease distribution, explaining that epidemiological methods aim to identify the cause of a disease by examining characteristics of affected individuals and their environment. These characteristics are called epidemiology variables, crucial for identifying population at highest risk. So, epidemiology variables, these variables are studied since they determine the individual and population at greatest risk of acquiring particular disease, and knowledge of these associations may have predictive value. Next slide po.
Next po is epidemiological process and investigation. We have three epidemiological process and investigation. First one is the time. Refers both to the period during which the cases of the disease being studied were exposed to the source of infection and period during which the illness occurred. Ito rin ay tinatawag na exposure and illness period ay tumutukoy sa panong oras kung kailan na-expose yung tao sa pinagmula na-expect ng infection at kung kailan lumabas yung signs and symptoms. And next is person. Refers to the characteristics of the individual who were exposed and who contacted the infection or disease in question. Ito naman is nakadepende sa characteristic ng tao. Pwedeng pagmulan sa edad, kung matanda or bata man or matanda, kung babae man or lalaki, kung sino yung may mas mapangarap na trabaho, at kung sino yung mas maraming bisyo. Nakadepende rin sa lifestyle ng tao. And then next is place. Refers to the features, factor, or conditions which existed in or describe the environment in which the disease occurred. Ito naman is tumutukoy sa environmental features and kung saan pwede pagmulan ng sakit o kaya sa structures ng bayan or barangay kung dikit-dikit kung saan pwede mabilis na lumaganap ang sakit. And sa time is meron tayong tatlo. First is epidemic period. A period during which the reported number of cases of disease exceeded the expected or usual number of that period. Ito ay tumutukoy sa panahon kung saan ang bilang ng kaso ng isang sakit ay mas mataas kaysa sa inaasahan o karaniwang bilang para sa panahon. Ito yung halimbawa last year, summer, and yung summer ngayon, kung alin yung may mataas na heat index, piling doon yung may mas mataas na kaso ng sakit. And then next is the year. For many diseases, the incidence frequency or of occurrence is not uniform during 12 consecutive months. Instead, the frequency is greater in one season and any of the others. This seasonal variation is associated with variation in the risk of exposure of susceptible to the source of infection. Ito halimbawa na lang. Pag sa malamig pag malamig is parang maraming nagkakatang kaso. And then pag maulan naman is maraming cases ng dengue. Kaya lagi nakadepende kung anong season or kung anong klima ng isang panahon, kung anong disease ang mag-occur. And then next is period of consecutive years. Recording the reported cases of disease over a period of year by weeks, months, or year of occurrence useful in predicting the probable future incidence of the disease and planning appropriate prevention and control program. Ito naman is nire-record nila yung bawat disease sa isang taon para by next year is alam nila kung ano yung patterns and kaya nila ma-predict kung anong sunod ng sakit ang ilalabas. So pag alam na nila yung disease ng pasunod-sunod, pwede na silang magkaroon ng pre-intervention at control programs para mas bumaba yung kaso ng sakit at mas maging prepared. And then next is a place. For most diseases, there are more variation in disease frequency by age than any other variable, and for this reason, age is considered the single most useful variable associated in describing the occurrence and distribution of disease. Its usefulness is largely a consequence of the association between a age and there. And next, meron tayong 3 levels. First one is potential or exposure to the source of infection. Next is level of immunity or resistance. And C is physiological activity at the tissue level. Ito naman is, alam naman natin na ang edad is isa sa factors na tinitingnan pag nagkakasakit ka na sa bata or matanda. Halimbawa, pag sa bata ay madaling mahawaan ng infection dahil bababa yung immunity nila, at sa matanda naman mataas pero mas malapit sila sa chronic diseases katulad ng hypertension or diabetes. Ano nila? Wala naman. And next is we have section occupation. In general, males experience higher mortality rates than female for wide ranges of diseases. It's the female, however, who have higher morbidity rates. This is also because of differing patterns of behaviors between sexes or activities as recreation, travel, occupation, which results in different opportunities for exposure and source of infections. Dito naman sinasabi na mas mataas ang mortality rate ng mga lalaki at sa babae naman is mas mataas yung morbidity rate. Dito kasi nakadepende kung anong trabaho, lifestyle, libangan, kung ano ang gawain ng babae at ano ang gawain ng lalaki. Halimbawa, sa maraming lalaki ang nagkaka-aksidente sa trabaho at sa babae naman sila yung madalas na nagkaka-UTI. Though alam naman natin na mas talaga ang babae sa UTI. And then next is place. It refers to the features, factors, or conditions which existed in or describe the environment in which the disease occurred. It is geographic area described in terms of street, address, city, municipality, province, region, or country. The association of this disease with the place implies that the factors of greatest etiologic importance are present either in the inhabitants or in the environment or both. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina is nakafocus ito sa environmental features dahil kung dikit-dikit ang bahay, syempre mas mabilis kumalat ang sakit. At lalo na rin kung nakatira sa maraming tubig at maraming napabaya tubig o yung mga maraming drum, maraming mga gulong, pwede pamugara na lamot at pwede maging sanhi ng sakit. Next.
Good afternoon po. I am audible po. So, in urban or rural differences, in general, this is spread more rapidly in urban areas than in the rural areas, primarily because of the greater population density of urban areas. And rural provides more opportunities for susceptible individuals to come into contact with advanced outbreaks. So, mostly po, yung citizens in urban areas, sila yung mas madalas na nagkakaroon ng high exposure sa virus and have no space or means to protect themselves. And overcrowding and lack of clean sanitation services increase the risk of contagion, limit residents' ability to adhere to public health measures, and increase the likelihood of interpersonal violence. Then, for the socio-economic areas po, different communities can be usually divided into geographic areas which are relatively homogeneous with respect to the socio-economic circumstances of the residents. Then it commonly has been observed that the incidence rate of many diseases, both communicable and chronic, varies inversely with differences in large geographic areas within a country. Geographic variations in the incidence of infectious diseases commonly result from variation in the geographic distribution of the reservoirs or vectors of the disease or in the ecological requirements of the disease. So, proceed na po tayo sa patterns of occurrence and distribution. So, first po is the sporadic. A disease occurs infrequently and irregularly. So, sporadic occurrence in the Philippines. In a given year, there are few unrelated cases in a given locality. The cases are few and scattered, so that there is no apparent relationship between them and they occur on and off intermittently through a period of time. So, dito po sa sporadic, ito po yung mga diseases na nakikita lang natin occasionally and usually without geographic concentration. So, one of the example of this po is rabies. It occurs sporadically in the Philippines. In a given year, there are few cases during certain weeks of the year, while there are no cases at all during the other weeks. During the week, when the few cases are occurring, the cases are scattered throughout the country so that the cases are not related at all to the cases in other areas. So for the endemic, it refers to the usual prevalence of a disease within a region or population group. So its occurrence is the continuous occurrence throughout a period of time of the usual number of cases in a given locality. The disease is therefore always occurring in the locality and the level of occurrence is more or less constant through a period of time. the level of occurrence may be low or high. When the given level is continuously maintained, then the pattern may be low endemic or high endemic, as the case may be. So the disease is more or less inherent in that locality. It is in a way already identifiable with the locality itself. So dito naman sa endemic po, ito yung mga diseases na always present sa population within a geographic area, typically po year-round. So one of the examples of this are yung flu po, most common na siya dito sa Philippines, and malaria po is consistently seen in the Central and South America, Africa, Asia, and Eastern Europe. Then for the HIV po is common po siya sa US.
So the other two important health terms are epidemic and pandemic. An epidemic happens when there is a sudden increase in the number of cases of disease higher than what's usually expected in a specific area or community. This means that a disease is spreading quickly and affecting more people than normal, but it's generally limited to a particular place or region. So for example, sa isang area ngaya, usually di naman talaga sila nakaka-acquire ng bird flu. Pero suddenly, dumami bigla yung mga cases sa area na yon. So considered siya as an epidemic, wherein yung outbreak ng bird flu is affecting a larger scale of the population and hindi siya normal sa area na yon. So this is important because it means that something unusual is happening with the disease's spread. Kasi it's either bumibilis yung pag-spread ng disease and marami nang nahahawa or nag-start na siya mag-show up sa iba pang areas. So sa slide natin, it's not just the total number of cases that matters, but rather how quickly the cases are rising compared to the usual rate. If a disease shows up in a place where it normally doesn't, or if it spreads much faster than expected, we call it an epidemic. In line with this occurrence, we also have the pandemic. Kung hindi masolusyonan yung pagtaas ng cases or hindi ma-prevent yung pag-spread ng outbreak sa mga certain areas, maaari itong maging pandemic. Ang pandemic naman is an outbreak of a disease, but it's much larger in scales. So kung sa epidemic, may one specific area lang siyang natatamaan, sa pandemic naman is global yung impact niya. Because of its wide reach, a pandemic often requires a global response with countries working together to control and contain the disease. So a recent example for this is yung COVID-19 pandemic natin. It started as an outbreak in Wuhan, China in late 2019, but it did not stay contained to one area, but rather it quickly spread to other countries and continents, including the Philippines. So to put it simply, an epidemic is generally contained to one location or country, while pandemic crosses international borders and impacts the world. And epidemic isn't contained or prevented from spreading, it can turn into a pandemic. So next slide po, please. We also have here the epidemiological process and investigation. It is a series of steps we use to track, understand, and control disease outbreaks in a community. So first step natin is to establish fact of presence of epidemic. The first step is to confirm that there is an actual epidemic. This includes verifying if the disease truly exists in unusual numbers in the community. So under this process po, we have three subcategories, namely yung verify diagnosis, evaluate reports, and assess prevalence. So sa verifying diagnosis, we need to confirm that the reported disease matches the illness affecting the community. While sa evaluating reports, we review if case reports are complete and up-to-date to give us a clear view of how widespread the situation is. Having complete and updated case reports, syempre mas napapadali nito yung pagsagip ng mga health officials sa outbreak na yon, especially kapag tumataas yung cases ng disease. And sa assess prevalence naman, we compare the current level of cases to the previous year's data to see if there is an unusual rise in cases. It is also essential to understand which cases are epidemic or yung mga sudden outbreaks versus sa endemic lang. Ito naman yung mga sakit na palagi naman nandyan pero mababa lang yung mga cases ng disease na yun. And next slide po. Yung second step natin is to establish time and space relationship of the disease. So after verify na merong epidemic, we will analyze when and where the cases are occurring. This step is important para ma-identify natin yung pattern ng pag-spread ng disease. We look to see if the cases are concentrated in specific areas of the community like particular neighborhoods, schools, or yung mga pinagtatrabahuhan natin. Then, it is important na ma-identify natin yung clusters na to para mas maintindihan natin kung merong specific na location na may need talaga na masolusyonan yung outbreak doon. And also, kapag ma-identify natin yun, pwede nating malaman din yung mga environmental factors or mga activities na ginawa ng mga tao doon na pwedeng makakontribute sa pag-spread ng outbreak. Then, we also study the dates of symptom onset for each case, organized by days, weeks, or months to understand the spread rate and possible peaks in cases. So knowing the timing helps us track the epidemic's progression, whether it's accelerating, peaking, or nagde-decline na yung status ng outbreak. So the third step is relation to characteristic of the group community. We analyze kung sino yung naapektuhan ng outbreak or yung disease within the community para ma-identify natin kung sino yung mga vulnerable groups or may specific factors ba na nakaka-contribute sa pag-spread ng disease. This involves examining cases based on the demographical status such as yung age, gender, race, occupation, and pati na rin yung vaccination history nila. Understanding which groups are most affected helps identify risk factors like age groups or occupation that are particularly vulnerable, which is important for targeted interventions. We also investigate the role of sanitation facilities such as water supply, waste systems, or yung generalized na sanitation ng community na yon, as well as titingnan natin kung merong mga potential animal or insect vector sa area na yon. We also assess yung mga pinagkukunan nila ng pagkain kasi pwede itong makakontribute sa specific disease such as yung mga foodborne illnesses baga. Then, we also check for any known carriers of the disease in the community who may be asymptomatic but can still spread the disease. Identifying carriers is important because they may unknowingly contribute to the disease spread. Siyempre, pag ganon, mas mahirap i-identify and i-prevent yung pag-spread kasi hindi na alam kung saan nanggagaling yung factor na nagkukos ng pag-spread. So yung last step naman po is yung correlation of all data obtained. This final step is where we put everything together to understand the full picture of the epidemic and guide the decision making for possible interventions. We have to summarize the data so we can make use of the tables, charts, or mga concept map para ma-present yung findings visually, making it easier to see trends and connections. We also analyze all the evidence to identify source of the epidemic and understand how the disease is spreading. It is important in forming conclusions about what caused the epidemic and determining effective control measures. And lastly, based on the findings, we make recommendations for controlling the outbreak if it's ongoing, as well as strategies para ma-prevent rin natin yung mga future outbreaks. So itong epidemiological process and investigation, basically ito yung ginagawa natin sa duty, wherein nag-house to house tayo, tas nag-i-interview, data gathering, tinatanong natin yung mga health history ng bawat client natin, tapos magmasid kung ano yung mga vectors or panggalingan ng mga disease, tapos tatanungin din natin sila sa kung kamusta sila sa living nila dun sa area na yon. Then after makuha natin yung data, isa-summarize natin siya or ayusin, then itutukoy na natin doon yung mga priority problems, and based dun sa priority problems na yun, bubuo tayo ng pwedeng intervention para ma-solution natin yung problem na yun. And that ends the discussion po.
So thank you very much, Group 2. So thank you for the effort and the hard work in preparing this report. So very evident naman na nag-put kayo ng oras sa inyong presentation. So yung flow ng presentation was good, but please try to please remember to engage more with your audience or your classmates. Magtaga-question kayo, magtaga-raise kayo ng or i-involve nyo sila during your report para naman mas ma-retain sa kanila yung information na binibigay nyo. Opo. So once again, let's take a moment to acknowledge the team for their effort. So well done. So next meeting po, yung next reporters natin, dalawang grupo, please prepare. Siguro online pa rin tayo since wala tayong room plotting. By the way po, doon sa mga binibigay kong PPTs, hindi ibig sabihin na yun po mismo ang gagamitin nyo po. Kagaya po sa nag-present ngayon, minodify nila yun. So they also added some informations that they think or deemed necessary or vital for our learning. Okay po. So once again, let's give a virtual clap to the reporters for this afternoon. Well done. Good job. Yes, may nagre-raise ng hand. Sino nagre-raise ng hand?
Napindot lang po.
Any questions? Okay. Any more questions, clarifications regarding the discussion? I think very clear naman yung kanilang pag-present ng topic. So I hope yung mga next reporter, ganun din po. Short lang, brief, concise, and then mas simpler ang explanation para mas madali nating maunawaan, maintindihan. Opo. So if there's no more questions or clarifications, for the last time, we will be having our mandatory group picture, virtual grouping. So may I invite everyone to open your cameras, please. Bago tayo mag-end ang ating session for this afternoon. Malinaw pa ba ang audio ko? Sino po pwede mag-take ng screenshot?
Sir, ako na lang po.
Sige po.
1, 2, 3, smile. Okay na po.
Okay, thank you. So you may now leave the meet po. Yes, Oswald, any more questions or clarifications?
Okay, sir, yung para lang po sa duty namin bukas. Magpapa-clarify lang po.
Okay, so ano pa tayo? Duty tomorrow, ang tawag nito? Department shirt and maong pants ang gagamitin. Kung wala ng department shirt, white shirt will do. Opo. So magdala din kayo ng laptops to finalize your output po para doon sa inyong health assessment, yung ginawa niyong house to house.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay na?
Opo, sir.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Bye po, sir. Thank you po. Thank you po, sir. Thank you po.
Ate? 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 Tulog ate.
Babaya pa narultog si ate mo.
Tulog ate ede. Takay ate tulog. Baba daddy. Baba daddy. Baba daddy. ate san aki ede. San aki.
No, wag na muna. Ako na lang muna.
Ako ate. Anak. Ate paski ki ede. Aki anak. Aki